Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Unity of Music City, where we are the home of authentic transformation. We're excited to present Vic Sorrel. He'll be speaking for us this morning, along with musical guests Michael Inge and Phil Hughley. We are excited to have them in the house this morning on this beautiful Sunday morning. We are having a talk with God, and we will be having those affirmations and song around this message. And we will be starting off with no further ado with Mr. Michael Inge.
There are people who have let the problems of today lead them to conclude that for them life is not the way. But every problem has an answer, and if yours you cannot find, well, you should talk it over to him. He will give you peace of mind. When you feel your life's too hard, just go have a talk with God. Many of us feel we walk alone without a friend, never communicating with the one who lives within, forgetting all about the one who never ever lets you down. You should talk to him anytime, 'cause he's always around. When you feel your life's too hard, just go have a talk with God. Na 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 na. Well, he's the only free psychiatrist that's known throughout the world for solving the problems of all men, women, little boys and girls. When you feel your life's too hard, just go have a talk with God. When you feel your life's too hard, just go have a little talk with God. When your load's too much to bear, just go talk to God, he cares. When your life's too much to bear, just go talk to God, he cares. When you feel your life's too hard, oh, just go have a little talk with God.
That was fabulous. Thank you, Michael. We start with the morning announcements. Let you guys know what's going on in the world of Unity of Music City. We wanted to remind everyone that Unity of Music City is now open on a limited occupancy. We are practicing social distancing and masks are required. The Namaste Cafe and children's programs are not available at this time, so please plan accordingly. No ticket required, just show up. Join the Lunch Bunch Book Club via Zoom every Wednesday morning at 11:30. They are reading the book Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer on August the 12th, or began on August the 12th. Contact Karen Burr or the church office for more information. Also, as a reminder, the prayer chaplains are available for your prayers. For those of you that are in the sanctuary, prayer boxes are located at the front of the sanctuary and also in the lobby. You can also make us aware of your email, so you can email those prayer requests at uofmcprayerrequests@gmail.com. Any and all requests are welcomed. And now I can take us into the sacred reading. Today's sacred reading is coming from Bonnie Hassan, local author, and it's from her book, Straight Talk from God. It is from day 201, Look Deeply. What is it you are afraid of finding that keeps you from looking deeply? You say you do not know how. You ask, how do I get there? What will it take me there? All that is required is that you spend time in introspection, in silence. Make time to connect with the divine source within you. Let that source show you what needs to be revealed and healed. There is no great effort required. Just simply, consistently being with Spirit. Setting aside time for just you and Spirit to connect. No talking is necessary. No entreaty. No pleading. No prayers. Just simply being in that quiet space and saying, here I am. Be with Spirit, and Spirit will be. I think you think it needs to be more difficult. Because you think it must be difficult and time-consuming, you convince yourself you don't have time to do it. Yet when you take the time, when you make the time, when you find the time, you recognize there is then time for everything else also. And now we take you to the Abundance Affirmation. If you guys will please say it with me. I am open to receiving floods of financial abundance with ease, so that I may be able to give back even more to the world around me. So for those of you that are in the sanctuary, there is the red bucket, usually located in the back. For those of you that are online, those tithes and offerings may be made available to our website online, which you can see is unityofmusiccity.com/donate. Thank you. And Vic, I believe will take, no, actually we will be hearing from Michael Inge again. Thank you guys.
I'm expecting great things. I'm expecting great things. I'm expecting great things. Great things. I'm expecting great things. I'm expecting great things. I'm expecting great things. Oh, great things. In my life, you do great things. In my home, you do great things. All around, you do great things. Eyes haven't seen it, but I choose to believe in great things.
Good morning. Good morning. All of life breathes together. Let's say that together. All of life breathes together. Again, all of life breathes together. And knowing this, we come into the awareness of our oneness, the only true heaven on earth, the awareness of our oneness in love. And as we breathe together, we are together. And perhaps it is that which we can touch only with our hearts that is the truest of manifestations in this life. Perhaps not being able to touch it means it is more real than we know, as close as our breath. And so we consider our expectation of good. We consider the highest visions for our lives, how they might manifest to serve the whole world, how our gifts might come forth from us to meet the problems that only our perspective can solve uniquely. We consider this role in the creative dance of life. With great power comes great responsibility. We affirm together then that we are expecting great things. We are creating great things. For at our essence, we are a great thing, and that is love. In our hearts, in our homes, in our lives, in our worlds, we know for sure that our expectations go forth from us to create the experiences that we call life. And so this morning together in the holy silence, we make space to consider our expectations of great things. In the silence, perhaps that which we cannot touch is actually the most real manifestation in this life. That which we feel, we can know. That which we feel, we can be. That which we feel is the essence of what we are, the love essence that is the oneness that unites us all. And just as we rely on this oneness to inspire our expectation, we know that our expectation is of good. And we know that just as anything is so because we allow it to be so, then we know together so it is.
Great things in my life. You do great things in our homes. We do great things all around. We do great things. Eyes haven't seen it, but we choose to believe it. Eyes haven't seen it, but we choose to believe it. Eyes haven't seen it, but we choose to believe in great things.
Thank you, Michael, Inge, and Phil Hughley. Great things, for sure. Good morning, everyone. Good to see everybody here in the room, and wonderful to see and feel everyone that is tuning in with us this morning via live stream. I'm Vic Sorrel, and it's a gift to be anywhere, and especially a gift to be here this morning. A lot of things that I'm personally grateful for this morning. Number one being that it's almost Libra season. And it felt like Libra season this morning, right? I slept with the windows open last night and woke up with that beautiful chill in the room this morning. Because I'm ready for Virgo season to be over. Can I just say? All the grout in my home is clean. That's how Virgo season has been for me. I have been busy. So all my fellow Virgos and people who have Virgo in their chart can recognize and appreciate, hopefully, that the neurotic tendencies are coming to a close. However, for those of us who have a lot of Libra, or I was going to say have a lot of Libra in our charts, we know that the air is blowing in, and that can mean anything at any time. We're everywhere, right? So, but it's my favorite time because I feel the possibility of life and love in this season more than any all year long. People a lot of times get a resurgence in spring. This is my resurgence time. And so I'm feeling fresh, and I'm feeling very optimistic, and gifts abound. Also, sweater weather. Who doesn't love sweater weather, right? I love sweater weather. So I will say a lot, like I said, a lot of change. Shout out to Jackie Wilson and the organista she is the organista, might I say, for helping me invite change into my home and doing a beautiful job in helping me get rearranged and hopefully arranged for what's going to be the best year of my life ahead. My birthday comes up the end of October, and so I always look at it that way. I start my new year at my birthday every year. And so today we speak about maturity. I'm feeling it in a beautiful way, though. Maturity comes with a lot of great benefits. Mindfulness, the realization of that which is truly valuable and important. Seasons change, but our curriculum pretty much remains the same. And when I say curriculum, I mean our life curriculum. We basically are socialized into a world of fear and lovelessness from the time we are born, and from the time that we awaken, we work on that same curriculum to shift our thoughts from lovelessness to love. Very simple. Very simple. And so if every one of us all over the world simply changes every thought we think from fear to love, we're good. That's it. Class dismissed. That's not easy. That's not always easy, right? because what's modeled for us from the time that we're babies. Yeah. One of the first things that we tend to do as children is learn to compare ourselves to other children. Oh, be good like so-and-so. See them over there? They're not hyper. See how calm they are? See how good they are? And it begins just that easily. And we start to compare ourselves. And basically what we start to do a lot of times is give ourselves away. Give our good away. Because of comparing or being compared to other people. Something that's also interesting about maturity, in that we learn the same lessons, but now we have different dimensions to those lessons. Not just different dimensions in our physical bodies, but different dimensions in that we have different points of reference now. So we may be practicing the same truth, thoughts from fear to love, but we've got all these experiences now to pull from. And as the result of these experiences, we find ourselves having a lot of conversations with those who have been in experience with us. And this is personal to me right now because our musical guest, Michael Inge, and I have been friends for 25 years this fall. I remember when I saw a video of Dolly Parton and Tammy Wynette talking about how they'd been friends for 20 years, and I thought, my God, they're ancient. And now, guess what? But we're not ancient at all. And yet, 25 years of friendship. And so we were talking over the weekend. We've had many conversations since he's been here about what we've been experiencing and how things are different now, and how we've been changed, but how the lessons are the same. So how we come about learning them might be a little different, but the content is still the same. And we talked about the power of an unidentified belief. How clear are we about what we're believing about ourselves? And how is that showing up in our lives? A Course in Miracles says, beware of the power of an unidentified belief. That which is working in your life while you sleep, while you are awake, and yet you're not consciously aware of its power as it's showing up in your choices. The belief, for instance, that if I distance myself from this person, that makes me bad. If I give up on somebody in order to save my own energy, then that says something about me, right? What is the belief that's active in the experience? So hopefully this guy will work. Crystal? Exactly. She said, what'd you do to it? Yeah, it's turned on. It's turned on. There we go. So something else that's going on is we're at the fall equinox. So Libra season is always every year in conjunction with a time where at the equinox the sun is overhead at the equator and days and nights are equal in duration. Now, depending on where you are, your geographic location, the days and nights may not be exactly equal, but from a nature perspective, that's what's going on, the fall equinox. And we just entered Rosh Hashanah, right? A very important Jewish holiday which commemorates the creation of the world and marks the beginning of the days of awe. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like we've been in the days of awe for a few months, right? Maybe a few years, almost 4. A 10-day period of introspection and repentance that culminates in the Yom Kippur holiday, also known as the Day of Atonement. And we remember that repentance metaphysically means to rethink. So Yom Kippur, so Rosh Hashanah, commemorating the creation of the world and introduces this 10-day period of introspection, is a time for us to be taking moral inventory of our lives and our decisions and how we are showing up in the world. Because we understand with maturity that how we're showing up in the world is not just for us. You see, when we're young, we think, I thought, let's use I statements. When I was younger, I thought that I showed up in the world such that I would be able to get what I wanted. I show up in a world in a way that is pleasing so that I'm able to make a living, have a home, find a partner, etc. And then as we grow, we realize that actually, no. We are here to show up in the world as we authentically are so that we can be who we came to be and do what we came to do in order to answer the places in the world that are calling for our gifts to be the solution to the world's problems. It's about something much greater than our individual lives, and yet, just like waves in the ocean, our lives are a part of it and cannot be separated except from our thought. Only our thoughts can separate us from the oneness that is God, that is love, that has that means every problem comes bearing its own solution. So repentance means to rethink. Rethink the choices that we've made, the choices that we're making. Miracles occur naturally in the presence of love, A Course in Miracles. And we know, metaphysically speaking, we've talked about it here before, the crucifixion being our experience and being at the effect of loveless thought, the crucifixion, on a moment-to-moment basis. And just the same, metaphysically speaking, the resurrection, our experience of our thoughts shifting from lovelessness to love. It feels heavy. The passing of such an important historical figure for justice. Marianne Williamson had this to say, and I think it's interesting that both Marianne and RBG share the Jewish faith. It's just too much of a sign that she died literally hours before the setting sun that ushers in Rosh Hashanah. According to the tenets of Judaism, the most righteous souls die at such an hour. And she certainly was a righteous soul. If you've ever seen her documentary or the documentary about her life, simply titled RBG, you know that her work ethic and her realization of her work being so much larger than herself, of her calling being about so much more than her living and her experience of life, you can tell that she was completely connected to a mission that in her willingness she received that was much greater than her. And as a result, consider the effects of that philosophy of life. If you've never had a Supreme Court case decide if you have the same rights as others, you have privilege. Perhaps a perfect example of someone realizing their privilege and how it can be used to serve those with less privilege, those in need of a voice, those deserving of equality. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Maturity, the ultimate example in maturity. Being willing to show up at a level, day in and day out, a commitment, a tenacity, that only a realization of oneself, in my opinion, spiritually can create. The spiritual realm is the eternal. The realm from which we gain eternal energy, eternal renewing. And to the level that our lives are spiritual, has to do with what we make of it, with what we allow to be true for ourselves through our thought. All inner peace comes from loving as God loves, seeing the world as God sees it. All of our experiences result from our perception of our experience, and our emotions result from how we're choosing to perceive in every moment. That's a big sentence. In every moment, we're making a choice. So then it must be true that who we are depends on where we are in any given moment. Are we in love? Are we in fear? There's a book called How to Be an Anti-Racist by Dr. Ibram Kendi, in which he explains the concept that there is no such thing as a non-racist or a racist. It's simply where you are in any given moment. Are you in a racist mind frame or an anti-racist? Moment to moment. Therefore, we all have the capacity to show up in either place at any given moment, depending on where your thoughts are aligned, if you're white. We were all socialized by a racist society. And so whether we are racist or anti-racist in any given moment depends on the thought that we're thinking. And it depends on the action that is being inspired as the result of the thought. We have the choice. And when we experience pain, you'll notice that I mentioned before, our emotions result from how we are choosing to perceive in every moment. And when we experience pain, what we are getting is an indicator that we should pay attention inward now. Pain. Abraham Hicks talks about our emotions being an indicator of whether or not we're in alignment with Source. And that our experience of negative emotion simply means that we are entertaining or thinking something that is not in alignment or that our Source is not in agreement with. In other words, according to Source, it's not true. So if we're thinking a thought that's creating an experience that is painful, according to Source, it's not in alignment with the truth of who we are. It's very simple. Thoughts shift from fear to love, but not so easy. So we have great books like The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz to use at a time like this when we're taking inventory of our lives. Sometimes it helps us just give me some bullet points. Just keep it simple, right? What are 4 simple steps that I can take, that I can use to kind of get a gauge on how I'm doing in addition to how I'm feeling, right? So the basic premise of this book is death is not our biggest fear. Our biggest fear is taking the risk to be alive and to express what we really are. A Course in Miracles would say that taking the risk to be alive and to express as we really are means the death of our ego. Means expressing as the love that is always available to us, but is our option, one thought at a time. And so we look at these agreements and we consider what they hold for us. The first agreement, be impeccable with your word. Now, I don't know about you all, but when I thought about be impeccable with your word, what I got from that without reading the book was, do what you say you're going to do. If you say you're going to show up, show up. Be honest. Don't tell lies. It turns out when you actually read the book, it goes both ways, inward and outward, meaning be impeccable with your word such that your words are of love and affirmation. The words that you allow for yourself, the words that you allow for others. Think about the next time you have an opportunity to offer constructive criticism. Deb Moore. We just talked about this Friday night. How can it happen in love? Constructive criticism in love is a beautiful gift. But it doesn't have to be beautiful. It's our choice, right? It goes both ways. The thoughts that we're allowing ourselves to entertain about ourselves. Back to Virgo, neuroses. The internal critic, constant. Why are you wearing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you thinking that? Right? Breathe. Be impeccable with your words. Only allow words of love for yourself and for others. Stop entertaining negative thoughts. This journey is about the thoughts we keep, period. Everybody has a negative thought. What do you do with it? Do you keep it, or do you allow it to be released to the nothingness from whence it came? It's about the thoughts we keep. Don't keep negative thoughts. Surrender the thought to God. Ask for the reframe. How can this negative thought become a loving thought? How can this negative experience become a loving experience? In life, you get back what you put out. It's that simple. If you're thinking negative thoughts to yourself, what are you going to feel like? You're going to feel like crap. It's that simple, right? Don't take anything personally. And if you're like me, the first time I read that, I thought, I take everything personally. How else am I going to be invested? How else am I going to allow my passion to flow through anything I do if I'm not taking it personally? Well, guess what? We must learn to become less reactive and more detached. Does that mean we don't care? Actually, it means we care greatly. We care even more when we realize the importance of being less reactive and more detached, because we don't want our emotions to keep us from being effective. We want to be love. We want to be in love, and we want to be here for love. There's a healthy level of detachment that comes into that equation. A healthy level of, I know what's true about me regardless of the experience that you're having in front of me and maybe attempting to project onto me. I know what's true about me. And furthermore, I know what's true about the choice that I'm choosing in this moment to receive, reframe, and return with love. No matter what we receive, we have that option to reframe and return with love. What others say is not a reality, it's a projection of who they are and where they are. Because think of it this way. If someone hands you something that doesn't feel like love, they probably aren't thinking with love. They probably aren't experiencing love in that moment. People can only offer what they have. Same for us. We can only offer what we have. It's not about us. We don't have to take it personally. We can see it for the truth that it is. And we can literally hold a space of love for someone else while they spin. It's possible. It takes a little work. We might get it right today, we might not. But it's worth having the ideal in place, the goal. Have you ever heard the expression, if you shoot for the stars, you'll end up in the trees? It's better to aim high, even though you might not hit the mark every time. Somebody said to me yesterday, yeah, unconditional love is a great thought, but you can't do that all the time. Who cares? What if you do it 3/4 of the time? Right? You come out ahead. If you're aiming for unconditional love and you hit it 3/4 of the time, think about how much better your life is going to feel. Think about how much more of a loving presence and a beneficial presence you're going to be anywhere you show up. 3/4 of the time ain't bad. Who do you know that's a joy to be around 3/4 of the time? When they call, you want to answer. It doesn't mean they're perfect. If it hurts you, it's not them who hurt you, it's you who has a wound. Wow, how many times have you said, well, they hurt my feelings? We've all said that. And we'll say it again. But if 3/4 of the time, instead of they hurt my feelings, I say, their behavior stirred something in me. Their behavior triggered something in me. An old wound that I have the opportunity to look at, that has come up for me. They didn't do anything to me. They did something for me. So that I can look at what came up and out of me and then surrender it to God so that it can be reframed and hopefully returned as love. Returned to self as love. Returned to the world as love. Once it's reframed as love, then it comes back to you as love. And who would rather hold negativity and toxicity than love? That's the catch. In order to offer negativity, you first have to hold it inside yourself. It's too bad that we can't actually act out revenge without first experiencing the vengefulness. But that's the reality of life. If we're going to hand anyone any negativity, we first have to hold it. We first have to have it. So it's not about you. Only when you take it personally, it becomes true. Therefore, we have the power to choose. If it's true for us, it's because we've agreed to it. Beware the power of an unidentified belief. What are you believing that is true that actually is optional? What are you taking on that is true for you that you are completely at choice of releasing or holding? Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. I'll never forget it. 11 years old, my best friend said to me, "Victor, don't you know that assume makes an ass out of you and them?" Close. Close. Assume makes an ass out of you and me. We make assumptions when we believe we know what others are thinking. But we don't, and we only project onto others our beliefs. Ask. When somebody's behavior puzzles you, breathe. Ask for the reframe, and ask the person. I noticed this. Explain it to me. Instead of, when you did thus and such, that wasn't right. Maybe not for you, but you have no idea where they're coming from, where they were, what they were thinking, what was true for them in that moment. And the fastest way to shut anyone down is to tell them who they are and what they were thinking. It's over. It's a wrap. There's no trust in that when you tell somebody who they are. Likewise, when you tell somebody what their experience is, there's no such thing as white privilege. Oh, really? You must be white. You don't tell somebody what their experience is. You ask somebody about their experience. You listen to their experience with compassion. with understanding. Why? Because you want to hold love first. And in order to offer love, you have to hold it. You have to have it. We often jump to negative conclusions because we are afraid of a negative judgment, so we shield our ego from the pain of rejection. That's why we do that. Let me get you before you get me. Let me tell you why you did that and why that was wrong. What if you misunderstood? What if it was just an error of judgment? We can make room for that. In love, there is only room. And always do your best, regardless of quality. This is a big one, especially in Virgo season. Can't get out of it fast enough. I'm just saying. Regardless of quality. You're going to have your good days, you're going to have your not so good days. Quality is not the law. Again, quality is a goal, and a very important goal. But we have this opportunity as humans to value the whole experience. To value the days when we know it wasn't our quote-unquote best, but it was our best that day. Maybe not on the whole, but there's value in experiencing yourself and loving yourself in and through what you know is not the best you've ever shown up. That's living life as a whole. Not just the times that I shine the brightest, but every time I step up. Detach from the prize. When life becomes about the living of it, instead of the prizes I can get from it, glean from it, the acknowledgments, the notoriety, the money, the fame, whatever, when it becomes about the experience instead of the prize, there's freedom. And when you fail, start again. Start again, no matter what. In some way, start again with your relationships. When you fail with your relationships, when you don't make room through love, and you say something that you know you could have said better, ask for the opportunity to make a repair. How can I repair this? I own what I did. How can I repair this? And how can we start again? Don't let life pass by for a year because you are reluctant to ask how you can repair what you may have had a part in. It's too precious. It's too precious. The spiritual warrior, this is how Don Miguel closes this book. The spiritual warrior knows the only war is with their mind. Any other war that we may conceive on this realm, in this 3D world of form, world of experience, the only war is with the mind. And shifting the mind from fear to love, from fear to love, from fear to love. So I'm going to leave you with this, and I'm going to invite Michael and Phil back up to close us out with the song that I think is the exact perfect match to what we've spoken about today. The victim represses while the warrior reframes. The victim represents fear. The warrior represents love. Namaste.
It won't be long till the dream is reality. We would all walk beside one another and recognize that we're all sisters and brothers. If love ruled the world, we would finally see. If love ruled the world, what a better place it would be. Oh, love ruled the world. Well, it won't be long until peace replaces hate. There'll be no more war, and hope will lead the way. We would all walk beside one another and recognize that we're all sisters and brothers. If love ruled the world, we would finally see. If love ruled the world, what a better place it would be. I believe we'll see the day when love will bring about a change. Fear is all that can divide us, but love is all that can unite us. If love ruled the world, we would finally see. If love ruled the world, what a better place. Oh, if love ruled the world, we would finally see. Oh, if love ruled the world, what a better place. Oh, if love ruled the world, if love ruled the world. Oh, if love ruled the world.
Yes.
If love ruled our world. Oh, if love could rule the world.
All right, we're going to do the prayer of protection. Yes, indeed. We'll do it together. Want to do it together? I think we should too. Let's do it. All right. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Phil and Michael. Wonderful job, as always. Here we go. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful week. And we'll go back to this. Thank you so much.